Today I'm hanging out with Victor from Barrio Slam and Mosh For Youth. If you're not familiar, Mosh For Youth started as a way to raise scholarship money for kids and help support them go to college. And it's all powered through hardcore shows, and it's grown into one of the biggest festivals in Southern California, a record label, and also a nonprofit. In this episode, we talk about growing up, teaching, Latino culture, community, and where all this stuff goes in the future. So for anyone that I guess doesn't exactly know, I want you to explain to me like what Mosh For Youth is and why you started it in the first place. Yeah,
for sure. So Mosh For Youth, like you kind of pointed out, it's a hardcore organization, right? Where it's an organization made by hardcore kids, and all we do is we throw shows. We throw hardcore shows to raise the scholarship money for students of it started off just East LA and Pomona. I'm from Pomona, right? So I have a lot of love for it. In East LA because that's where I used to teach. But we just added San Bernardino last year, right? Because the IE has given us so much love. Right. So we're like, we got to give something back. Yeah, we throw hardcore shows for students from those cities, for students from those cities to help them go to college, right? And hardcore is what we know. Right. So yeah, we just use this medium.
I want you to take me back a little bit, like on your childhood and the way you grew up, and how did some of that stuff, like you going to school yourself, you teaching different music, how did that inspire you to do what you're doing with this stuff now?
Yeah, so most of my life I've been in Pomona, right? Most of my life was there in Pomona, but I did go to elementary school for some time in Mexico. Oh, really? In Guadalajara, yeah. So my family's from Guadalajara, so I had immigrant parents from Michoacan and Jalisco, but yeah, family of 8. So it's a big family, 7 siblings. I'm number 7. So I had a lot of like that, both cultures, American culture, because I was born here. I was born in Montclair. Yeah. But raised in Pomona, and then living in Guadalajara and going to elementary school over there was a different experience. So I think that really affected who I was, right? Like, the Mexican culture, Latino culture was really embedded in me, and those customs were really embedded in me, and that's what led to like my personality and Barrio Slam, right? Barrio Slam itself. But that, alongside growing up in Pomona, right? Pomona during the time when I was growing up was rough, right? And it continues to be kind of rough in some areas, right? But with a lot of like gang violence, poverty, big ICE raids like very recently. That's still part of the Pomona culture as well as the artistic side. But that just kind of like shaped me, right? Shaped me into like who I am, and starting Barrio Slam and seeing, the inequities in like the education system, the lack of resources. That's really what pushed Mosh For Youth. Right. Yeah.
How do you balance doing Mosh For Youth, like the label, also the event, also having a job and being in a band and working out and doing this and doing that? I feel like you do a lot of different things,
I don't balance it well, man. No, it's a lot of stress, but I'm getting better at delegating, right? Like the team is growing. The Mosh For Youth team is growing. So there's a lot of more responsibilities being spread out, right? It's not just me sending the emails anymore. It's, my boy Lucky, who's also just really took charge of the marketing.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, like I love Lucky, and having a photographer friend is great, right? Because he sends me good pictures too of myself. Yeah. But him, we're getting a lot of help from like Oscar Bloom Photo. He's helping book bands. So is Steven 197 Media, right? Like they're all part of the Mosh For Youth team as well as the Barrio Slam guys. So I'm just delegating. I'm seeking a lot more help, which was different than how it started. Barrio Slam, same thing with the guys. The guys, they help me with like merch. I take a lot of that ownership, is like the shipping of the merch, picking up and all that stuff. But it is tough, right? Mosh For Youth and Barrio Slam really take up my free time outside of my job, right? Because I do have my 9 to 5 essentially.
What do you do for that exactly?
Now? So I started off as a teacher in East LA. Right now, I'm in the same organization. It's for a charter school network. But I'm essentially in charge of classroom projects, right? So like one of the requirements for all of our teachers is that they make a project in their classes that exposes students to different careers. I'm in charge of those projects and making sure that they get done throughout 8 different schools now.
Yeah.
So that's what I do, and I work closely with like vice principals and teachers directly.
I'm sure you showed like them a lot of different stuff compared to some of the other teachers too, right?
I do, like there's a lot of, non-typical jobs, right? Like everybody knows what a lawyer is, everybody knows like what a doctor is, right? Let's get into this kind of stuff. Let's get into the creative kind of stuff. We actually so last year I launched the Innovate, that's what we're called, Innovate, the short film festival, right? Because I want them to get into like that creative the creative process.
I noticed like when I had career day in high school, it was like here in San Dimas or in like around here, and it was so like cliche because they had like a firefighters there. They had like business. I don't know what that like exactly is. Like I don't know if it was like a guy in marketing or whatever, but he was just like, I'm business, like, whatever business. That is. It's so broad, They had like a teacher, a couple other things, but they didn't have anything like. And this was already in 2012. Was it 2015 when? Wait, I'm fucking old now. Yeah, 2015 when I graduated. So it was already kind of advanced, and they already didn't have anything like computer related, anything like social media stuff, anything creative, anything music. And if anything, I would understand, but it felt like we had the roster from like the 80s. Like you're a cop, you're a lawyer, and it's like, oh, if you're a woman, like you're a secretary or something. Right. Like that was kind of the vibe. And I think it's good to show people that stuff. And I think you have experience in all these different things. So even though you're doing like many different jobs, they kind of all inform each other. They're all related to like helping show a younger generation like positive, but maybe also different things that they can do in their life.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like you said, right, they all work with one another, right? Like me being in education itself helped Mosh For Youth because I know what like the college requirements and like FAFSA and like all of that stuff, the back end education stuff, and how scholarships work, right? So that helped inform Mosh For Youth, and Mosh For Youth at the same time, like, let's expose students to different things, right? Like we have a project on being a tattoo artist, right? Like things like that are embedded into hardcore culture, that are really expose students to other stuff.
Speaking of like hardcore in general, I feel like because I was into it starting in high school. When I was in high school, I feel like it was in like not a good spot. Like the average band wasn't as good as nowadays. And then before them, they were better too. Like I remember like Incendiary and Backtrack were like the only people I liked, like carrying that whole scene. Stick to Your Guns, kind of stuff like that. But nowadays it feels like there's so many bands, everyone's so good, and it's really popular on a mass scale. And not even just, like a Turnstile or a Knock Loose, but people like, I'll see like a celebrity post like Big Boy or something, And what do you think's contributed to this more like mass adoption of that scene and that kind of music lately?
Man, one, social media for sure, right? Like we have things like TikTok, Instagram that we didn't have growing up, right? We had MySpace, but that was not like as shared, right? As shared with the masses as TikTok and Instagram is. So I think one is that, but like you said, bands are just getting better. I think about my first band and like even the start of Barrio Slam, we were not as good as like the new high school bands, like it's just bands are just they're practicing their craft and they're like sitting down and working to get better, and it's awesome, right? So like there's a lot of that, but we do have to like give it up to like pioneers like Turnstile and Knock Loose that like elevated it, right, to get to Jimmy Fallon, or Tiny Desk, which that does help push the genre. I don't want to say forward, but like to a greater like audience,
And I also feel like with bands like that, whether people like it anymore or not, it doesn't really matter, because if someone finds that, like the way like technology works, they're gonna get recommended bands that are like hardcore or whatever you think is like harder, or whatever. And I mean, I like it all, so it's irrelevant to me, but I think it's good because I mean, like TikTok, bro, with Title Fight, it's crazy how like, because that shit was like, I liked it back then. Now I think it's more popular than when they were even in their prime, like
100%.
touring and stuff.
Like the Title Fight itself, like the push for that band in these later years is insane. It's insane. Crazy.
What do you think? Also, I've noticed uptick in both bands, audience, and just in the community of people in hardcore, like in the Latino community and like mostly Mexican and around here and stuff. Do you think, like, I guess to say it wasn't quite as common, I felt like growing up, like everyone was more white and stuff, and I feel like there's a lot more diversity now. And do you think that there's anything specific to that either on why that's becoming that way?
Yes, I think there's a couple like bands that really pushed it forward. Like the reason Barrio Slam exists, for example, is because of Minority Unit. It's because of More to Pride from Linwood. And you have like the older ones, right? Like Los Crudos. But there have been bands that really like push that Latino narrative and that Latino pride. At the same time, I feel like lately the generations just don't care about like being perceived a certain way. Even with like Latino families, right? Growing up, I was told, you know, you're listening to white people music. And I was like, yeah, I get it.
Like, oh, you're a rocker fool,
yeah, exactly. You know, so like I was like, yeah, I am, you know, like, but I think more and more people are just not giving a fuck about like that mentality, and that's pushing them to come out. But at the same time, it's like things blow up, right? Look at the band Live from Texas. They had a clip that just blew up that started off with a Ramon Ayala song.
Oh yeah. Before the breakdown and shit.
The breakdown. So like things like that, and kids want to be a part of that. Mexican kids want to be a part of that. But like you said, like it wasn't growing up. It wasn't as seen, you know, as it is now, which it's awesome now.
Yeah, I just remember when I was younger, like all my aunts and cousins and all my friends, like almost all my friends were Mexican. I'm half Mexican, but like growing up in like these like lower income apartments, we'd always hang out, and we whenever we would talk about any like thing like punk or whatever, it would always be one of my friends' uncles like, oh, you guys think you're rocker fools, huh? Like, you think you're gonna listen to that shit? He's like, you don't know nothing about that.
Yeah,
and, like they try to put you onto like some game or whatever. But I think you're right that the younger generation, whether like they almost like don't care about anything, and that means that like that has its benefits though, because they don't care about like, oh, this is for this people, this is for me, I'm not allowed to do this, whatever. And it's inspiring, because even when I was younger, I feel like I cared way more about what people think than I see like these kids that are like 16 17 acting.
Even like the fashion of it, right? Like kids are not giving hardcore's for weirdos again, right? Like I feel like hardcore is just getting weird again after it being such a I don't know, like I think growing up in like high school, and the people around me, they wanted to look good, right? They wanted to have like that fashion sense to it. Right now it's just like kids don't give a fuck, you know? Kids are dressing however the hell they want.
Do you think that like, so my favorite part personally about like hardcore and punk and any like alternative music is this like do-it-yourself mentality, and everything is very community based and people just getting shit done, and it's inspiring, because like even though it's the opposite of like business stuff, they're all like little entrepreneurs in that same way, you know? And how do you think that mentality has influenced like all the things that you do in your career?
It's everything, man. Like you said, like a DIY mentality, it's just it's just embedded in me. I feel like it's just hardcore has really driven that DIY mentality that has pushed Mosh For Youth, right? At the beginning of Mosh For Youth, we didn't know what it was going to be. All we wanted to do was throw a show. So what did we do? We hit up bands. We made our own really shitty flyer, right? Like, and we rented a PA system from Guitar Center. Like, like I got to go pick it up. Then the second one, like, oh, we got to order a stage. We got to order a porta potty. Like, it was just we got to do it. And then I think it being so shitty at the beginning, right? You start learning. and getting better for the next one and getting better for the next one and getting better for the next one. And I feel like hardcore is just that, right? Like it's just you reflecting on a shitty situation. That's what the lyrics are about, like reflecting on a shitty situation, learning from it, hopefully, right? And then just growing. So that trickled into like what Mosh For Youth is. And at the same time with my teaching, right? Like at the same time with my teaching, first year teaching, every teacher knows first year teaching is the absolute worst, right? You're learning how to be a teacher. You're learning about your own voice.
They're all bossing you around.
It's just like you don't know how to control a classroom. You know, like first year teaching sucks, and I fucking sucked, right? Like my first year, I thought I was gonna get fired, truthfully, because my principal and my vice principal at the time, they sat me down, they talked to me like, hey, something's going on.
You keep telling them like, open this shit up. When
like what does that mean, you know? But I was like, all right, well, I gotta reflect and like figure out how to do shit for myself, right? Like how to be a better teacher. So it just trickles into my whole life.
I think you've obviously seen it like inspire a lot of people with your teaching and with throwing these festivals and stuff. What do you think that hardcore does for people that why how do I say this? Why do you think people keep coming back to these kind of scenes, and what do you think it is that they can't get in other places that makes them so into it and like really loyal and die hard?
I think the fact that hardcore and things like Mosh For Youth are so community based, right? And I think people keep coming back to it because they see themselves as being a part of it as well, right? Mosh For Youth isn't just me, right? Mosh For Youth is us, you know, it's a hardcore community, and it's just I've received so much help from random people asking if they could help, right? So like it's just the fact that hardcore is so accessible to everybody, where all you have to do is go talk to the person. You don't have to talk to my manager, you don't have to talk to my agent or whatever. Come talk to me and like we could do something, right? When we came out with the Mosh For Youth documentary, for example, it was the producer, which Magdalena, she came to me like, hey, can I do a documentary for you guys? I'm like, yeah, cool, let's do it. So like it's just the fact that hardcore is so accessible and things like Mosh For Youth are so accessible to the public, and that the public is part of it, right? That they keep coming back to it because they know they are a part of it. The Mosh For Youth as an organization, it's the community, right? And everybody has helped in some way.
That's true. I think I've even noticed that with the vibe of hardcore, just as a, you know, someone who likes to go to shows, like your favorite band of all time, like you'll just be standing next to the singer and like, it's almost weirder to talk to them because they don't care at all. Like they're just there. You're like, oh shit. Or like you'll be talking to someone and then later you see them performing and you didn't even know.
For sure.
They're out there moshing too and shit.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's so approachable and no one has like really big egos and everyone knows how it, like what it felt like to, you know, grow something and help from the ground up. I've seen your festival go from being at like the urban farm like type thing all the way to the last one was at the Regent, right? Do you think that's kind of the biggest contributor to its growth is just more people coming along to help and stuff?
One, more people. Two, the help that I asked for, right? Like getting my team to grow bigger.
Right.
But the marketing side of it, man. Marketing is so important in trying to grow any organization. So Lucky coming on and providing quality pictures, right? And 197 Media coming on, Steven coming on and providing, you know, quality videos. Same with Bloom with his pictures. But all of that stuff, but and just people coming back to the shows, right? People showing up and moshing and all of that. And every single Mosh For Youth, we try to make it a step higher where it's like, what if we try to get this band, right? Like, or what if we increase our budget a little bit? You do that,
I think.
And it's been like that every single Mosh For Youth.
Because the biggest band, then they'll be in the middle on the next one.
Exactly. So it's like every single Mosh For Youth has been a step up, a step up, a step up. The Regent, you know, we sold it out last time. At Mosh For Youth 8 in January.
Contention, right?
With Contention. We had Ingrown, Bolt Cutter.
That's sick.
It was great. So that just never came to my mind. Historically, we would hope to sell 200 tickets, right? Like we would hope to God, right? That we got there. So to sell 950 tickets, right, that we sold at the region was crazy.
Yeah, I think it's also compounding because the more you do it, the more people don't even think of it as like, let's go help out this thing or let's go to this cool show because it's part of our community. It's like, no, I actually really want to go to that, and it's gonna sell out if I don't buy it.
For sure, yeah, and I think that's what like now it's just. It's a fest, right? Like the people are saying like, oh, it's a fest. I want to see these bands, and these bands are flying out to it. Like I can't miss my chances to see them.
Do you think you being in Barrio Slam and the front man of like your own band as well, help you kind of mobilize this community and like give you more, I guess, credit with like booking bands and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think so. Especially like at the beginning, because Barrio Slam had been a band, for 10 years already. I feel like we're barely getting off the ground, maybe the last couple of years. But Barrio Slam already had an established, audience, an established fan base. So when we started Mosh For Youth, we already have that base. We already had that base to help us push it forward, because now they're one into the other, right? Like they're together thing, right? Barrio Slam and Mosh For Youth, so that definitely helped.
Do you think what is your favorite moment of the festival each year when you do it?
Of the actual fest?
I guess not each year, but each time. I know it happens multiple. Sometimes.
It's twice a year. Oh man, I think seeing the crowd, right? I always think back to, I reflect a lot on this last Mosh For Youth because it was the biggest one yet. But I remember a moment during contention, and I just saw a sea of people, man. And like, it blows my mind that many people gathered to a festival that me and the team worked on for months, right? Like, and that they care enough to like come, and that the bands care enough. But like, I think just seeing the people go crazy and stage dive, that's always a big moment for me, because it's awesome, right? Like hardcore has been a big part of my life, and being a show goer and stage diving myself and breaking bones myself and like all of that stuff has been important in my life. And now like we're providing that same space for other people, right? It just makes me think about all that stuff,
Yeah, that's dope. Do you think considering how far you've came from the first events to like this last one, selling out 950, it's hard to say, I know, but what do you think success would look like for the festival in like the next 5 or 10 years? Do you have any goals or any big plans you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, one, I would love to sell out the Belasco, right? Like I want to go there, but I want to take it out of state too, right? Like for the organization itself, I want to start throwing festivals in other states to help out more communities, right? And build scholarships in other communities that need us well, right? So I think as an organization, that is the goal.
Do you have any plans specifically with and goals with the label itself? Because like I worked with you on the logo for the record label, and I know you have your own band and Smoke 909 and stuff on there. Is there any dream bands you want to sign or anything specific you want to do with it?
The label has been a slow burn. One, because I got to delegate. I think that's another thing that I have to like learn to let go of control a little bit. And we have somebody, right? Okay, cool. But we're on the verge of signing another band. Yeah, there's dream bands, but we know we can't compete yet, right. With like the bigger labels, Days or Flat Spot, or Creator Destructor, right? But we're working on that. We're working on our next couple of signs, and super excited with the Smoke 909 one. The Smoke 909 record came out awesome. But yeah, we're just looking to sign more bands on that. And outside of that, I'm also writing a book, right? Like I'm writing a book right now about Mosh For Youth. So I'll hit you up for the cover for that. All right. But we're also working on that to just tell this story essentially in the greater.
That's cool. Lens. And then you have like this whole kind of multimedia system with the documentary, a book. People can listen to music. and it's kind of like your different jobs, you know, it all kind of fits into its own. Sure. It's like the Marvel Cinematic Mosh For Youth
it
universe.
Really is, man. We're creating something bigger than a hardcore show now.
You were speaking about like taking the fest and just your company in general to other states or other places, even other counties, to help students and people in disadvantaged places, like help them with college and stuff like that. What do you think are the biggest problems you've seen just like systemically that cause someone like you to have to just even do this at all? Like this shouldn't, your company almost shouldn't even have to exist.
100%, I mean? Dude.
But 100%. I'm glad it does. But with that being said, what have you seen as like the biggest issues?
It's always funding, right? Like it's always going to be funding for like lower income communities in terms of education. Education gets funded based on property tax, right? So like if a city doesn't garner enough wages or like taxes, then they don't get it funding or appropriate funding for education. So that's why it's tough to fund a proper education and to pay teachers, the salaries, and to provide the technology necessary and the books necessary for low income communities, right? So like that's why our communities suffer. If you look at the website, we provide the stats on like graduation rates by our cities, and then the state averages, and just compare to like Beverly Hills, Chino Hills, whatever it is, to see like the differences, right? So like funding is a big part of it, and unfortunately because of that, like students don't take the proper courses to get into a four-year university. I love community colleges. Community colleges serve a great purpose, but you get stuck in a loop at a community college of trying to like get the classes to transfer out, and it's just it takes a long time. So there's a lot of things that go into it. And unfortunately, Mosh For Youth has to exist, right? Unfortunately, Mosh For Youth has to exist. The only reason I went to college was because of a program called Upward Bound, right? That helped me with tutoring, that helped guide me into college, and helped me with like financial aid and all of that stuff, right? But yeah, it's just education seems so financially, inaccessible to people from our communities.
Yeah, I get that. With my own experience, I've noticed when I was in school, I didn't even know till my last year, they were like, yo, you still need to do like this math class or whatever. And I was like, because I used all FAFSA, like, the thing about college in the US is you either have to be like really poor or really rich. If your parents are like trying really hard, you probably won't get financial aid, or they won't have enough. So I was lucky that we had like nothing, so I got all the financial aid. But if it wasn't for like people like my cousins and stuff who went to school to be like, you can apply to Cal State's 5 for free or whatever through financial aid and all this stuff, I would have had no idea. And most people, they hit this roadblock and they don't have anyone to like inspire them in their community, and they're like, well, I don't know how to do all that, so I'm just fuck it, and then that you saying like fuck that to one choice can make it like 2 years. Now you lost 2 years or something of waiting to like reapply for a school or this or that. And what would you do with your company if you had like unlimited money tomorrow to do whatever, or maybe not unlimited, but like say $10 million?
Right. It's a couple things, right? Like I think I would start, I would make it my full-time job, right? Like I would focus 100% on this, but I would really, I dream of like creating after school programs, right? Myself, for like tutoring and like financial aid awareness, and like almost like an addition to what would be a college advisor for students from our communities, but at the same time while exposing them to like what it takes to throw a hardcore show, in case people want to get into event planning and all of that stuff, like the steps to it. Not just hardcore, right? Obviously, but but like I think I would like really focus on working with the school districts directly to support in that, as well as tutoring and all of that stuff, right? Like I would love to get into that world, but it's just I can't do it right now unless I like hire a grant writer or something. that's what I would do at the same time as expanding it, like I said, to like the different communities, even taking it to like Mexico, right? Like I would love to go international with all of this stuff if I had that kind of money. Similar to like what For the Children is doing, right? For the Children did their whole fest in Mexico City as well. So shout out.
I didn't even know that.
No, they take it to Boston, Mexico City, like. So shout out
that's
SOS, sick. Right? Like, but that's exactly what
I remember. I think it was last year or the year before when I went and someone stole all the toys.
Yeah,
I was like, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
I was like, that has to be the most like evil thing you could do.
Grinch, dude. Like, yeah, it's the actual Grinch.
And that's cool. Everyone was like, all right, we got to bring 2 tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
That's cool. And I think when you've helped like different students and kids over the last like 5 years or so, let's say like 20 years from now, one of the kids who got like funding or help from Mosh For Youth is doing really well, like super successful in any type of whatever thing they're doing. What would you hope that they would remember the most from kind of your community and what you guys were doing?
Yeah, one of the questions that I asked them in the scholarship application is to tell me their favorite memory of their city, right? Like, because I want them to remember that beauty. Like, Pomona has been shitty to me in so many levels, right? But it's also been beautiful, right? I want them to reflect and I want them to think back. So if they come back successful, I want them to come back to their communities, right? Like see what Mosh For Youth is doing. I'm at some level like successful now in my career, and I chose to come back to Pomona and like try to help it. I wish they would do the exact same, right? To just think about that. And like at a more personal level, when we give out the scholarships, I go and meet with them, and I go and meet with their families, their parents, and we just talk, you know, we just have a conversation. I want them to remember that conversation and like, and know, well, remember why they went to college in the first place. Yeah. Right? Remember why they went to college and like I said, like what their community did for them.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I think so many people, their idea of success or making it is like leaving all the things that they came from. And I get that because sometimes shit sucks, you know, and like a lot of things you tie just the place you're from or just the people you're around to like all your disasters, and maybe they have some impact on it, but stuff doesn't ever change if you everyone just switches up on their day ones, you know, and moves to another state or country. Like some people's dream is to never talk to anyone they know at the current moment, you know, like they're like, can't wait to get out of here. And maybe that's the right move for certain people, sure, because some stuff could be fucked up, but I always think it's good. Like even when I went to school in NorCal, and then when I moved to LA, it was cool, and like it was nice for, you know, getting career experience and this and that. But since I grew up in Covina, and like moving back to this area, it just feels like good. And it's not like I'm doing shit like you or I'm helping build it up or whatever, but I think it's good to be back to where you came from and hopefully like expand on it, right, and help it grow.
You're speaking my language, man, because when I started grad school was when my parents retired and moved back to Mexico. And that's when I left Pomona, right? Like I started grad school at Pepperdine University, so I moved to Inglewood, and then after Inglewood I was like in Almani for a while.
It's in Malibu, right?
So the main campus is in Malibu, but they have the graduate school is closer to Inglewood. Okay. Yeah, it's like in Hawthorne. So I spent 6 years away from Pomona, and the last year I was living in Chinatown. I was like, all right, it's time to go back. Yeah. And then I came back, and I'm like, this feels amazing. You know, just sitting here just feels amazing. And I was just so happy to be back.
That's dope. That's funny going to that school, and they're like, no, actually, you're in Hawthorne, not Malibu.
No, I'm like, all right, man.
You're like, hell yeah, the beaches.
I missed out on the beach, man, but yeah.
Because that would have been a perfect spot to ride the bike. And all
it would have been amazing.
All right. One of the last things I want to do is like a kind of rapid fire stuff.
All right.
A couple questions I have for you.
Cool.
And first one is, all right, what do you think is your favorite hardcore record of all time?
Down to Nothing, the most.
Okay. Favorite venue?
Favorite venue? The Regent.
Most underrated band?
Treaty from New Mexico.
Okay. What's your dream Mosh for Youth lineup of, like, let's say eight bands or something?
8 bands?
Or how many do you usually have? Like 8 to 12,
I have like
right?
14.
Okay.
I'll just name a few. Dream? Oh man, I'm bringing back Backtrack. They're playing their return at Mosh For Youth one day. Down to Nothing too. Modern Baseball too. So them, I would love Rotting Out. Mm-hmm. I would love to have Rotting Out. I would love to have The Beautiful Ones. Big fan of The Beautiful Ones. No Warning. Oh, man, I said No Warning. Let's see.
4, I think.
Let's see. No Warning. Who have I been listening to a lot? I would love to have Heart.
There you go. That's more possible too than the other first two.
Yeah, I guess so. Now, Pain of Truth. I love Pain of Truth. Age of Apocalypse. They're newer, but their last album, I'm hooked. Mm-hmm. Let's see.
You get only one more.
One more?
So you either go for small or headliner here.
Headliner. You know what? I'm bringing Turnstile. And Turnstile, they're playing Step to Rhythm.
You're like, it's on the contract?
Yeah, it's there, dude. So I'm paying them $1 million to play Step to Rhythm.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's sick. Dude, I would just be so excited to see Backtrack. That's like, they're one of my bands that I'm like, damn, I didn't get to see them.
Yeah.
I felt that way about Have Heart, but now it's like they play more.
They played a good amount now. Backtrack, I saw them at the Aladdin Jr. when it used to be Aladdin Jr.
Oh, damn.
Which is 300 cap, right? Like, same with Turnstile, they played there. But I didn't.
And most people that are just there don't give a fuck about that.
Straight up, man. So
they're trying to eat and shit.
Yeah.
Well, you actually answered the last one too. I said band you'd bring back if you could, but Backtrack is so. Backtrack, please come back, play a show, please, all that stuff. Please. But anyway, bro, thank you so much again for coming through and coming on. Is there anything you want to tell anyone else about the organization or anything before we go?
Yeah, I mean, follow Mosh For Youth. You know, we're working hard at the next event, right? September 26th. I think we're announcing tomorrow, actually.
Okay.
So yeah, just donate if you can. Follow Mosh For Youth. Check out the documentary. Help each other out, right? Like, hardcore is a community. Just do something good for somebody else every once in a while, and yeah, I mean, go to shows.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Peace out.